You do not have to see it in your current reality to actually believe it. The biggest thing that I can say about this is everybody, almost everybody believes in God or science or universe or source. They believe in that thing, but they have never seen it before, right? It's like they're walking in faith, not by sight. So if you can walk in faith and actually know this to be true, even though you've never experienced it in your life, that is actually what's going to manifest for you. I just started to assume every single thing worked out for me. That business I started would make me six figures. That person I want to date would be the love of my life. The move that I did to Florida, it would be the best thing yet. I assumed my way to go from being broke as fuck living at my dad's house to making multi six figures building a worldwide brand in my 20s. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to use law of assumption, how to basically assume your way into your dream life. Okay, it does not matter where you're at. It does not matter if you're broke. It does not matter if you're going through a heartbreak. It does not matter if you're just defeated in life. I'll tell you, this process and this specific strategy works so well if you actually believe in it. And I know for me, I tried every single thing to try and change my life, but until I ran into assuming that everything just works out for me, guess what? It actually did. This works like magic. And most people will not tell you this because they don't actually know what law of assumption is. They get caught up in the mainstream of law of attraction and doing affirmations and blah, blah, blah. And does that work? Absolutely. But until I adopted and realized law of assumption is basically assuming your reality is already here, boy, did I do a 360 in my life. Now, I want to start off by saying what law of assumption is. Now, this is different than law of attraction because I know the mainstream law of attraction is what you think about the most is what you're going to become. If you think about negative stuff, that is what you're going to attract. If you think about positivity, that is also what you're going to attract. However, something that I love about law of assumption that really doubled down my belief in manifestation, actually attracting the true life and desires that I wanted was if you assume something to be true, if you actually have belief behind it, it is going to happen. Now, one of the main reasons why manifestation law of attraction does not work for some people is because they can affirm all day, every single day, they're a millionaire, they found the love of their life, they have like a six-figure business, but if they don't actually believe that to be true, it's not going to happen, right? It's like you can tell yourself consciously, I am a millionaire, but subconsciously, if you're like, no, you're not, that's not going to happen. You're just basically tripping yourself and thinking you are, but that's not true. It is not going to work. So when I realized this, it doesn't necessarily even have to do with the affirmations you're saying, but the belief behind the affirmations. If you actually believe that to be true, that's what's going to happen. And that's what's basically law of assumption. So for an example, let's say that you're going to a job interview and you want to get that job. But if you were assuming,
oh, there's so many other candidates, that person's not going to like me, maybe I'm not qualified, but
you really, really, really want that job. And of course, right before the interview, you're like, I'm going to get the job. I'm going to get the job. I'm going to get the job. But you actually believe that's not possible for you and it's not going to happen. It is not. That is what law of assumption is. If you believe something to be true, that's what's going to happen. Same thing, of course, I'm in like the online industry helping people build their own business, make their own money. And I see this happen over and over again. If people don't believe the posts that they make are going to attract the right type of people when they sell their product, if they think people aren't going to buy, that's also what's going to happen. You're basically putting out what you believe to be true about you. Now, back when I was broke as a joke, I was basically telling myself, I don't think people are going to pay me money. I don't think I have what it takes to build a business, even though I really, really want it to, right? This is the difference. You can have and want a lot of things, but if you don't believe it's for you, it's not going to happen. So what I really had to do was shift my perspective and shift my beliefs, most of all, to actually believing things that were going to be true for me. Now, a lot of the times, this is where people can kind of get tripped up by, right? Because then you kind of ask yourself, are you just like gaslighting yourself to believe certain things to be true? Or does it just kind of go back to the same thing? If you believe you make a post and you make money every single time you post on social media, but you don't actually genuinely believe it, is that true or is that not? Now, the thing about law of assumption and believing in beliefs that you want true for you in your life is You do not have to see it in your current reality to actually believe it. And the biggest thing that I can say about this is almost everybody believes in God or science or universe or source. They believe in that thing, but they have never seen it before, right? It's like they're walking in faith, not by sight. So if you can walk in faith and actually know this to be true, even though you've never experienced it in your life, that is actually what's going to manifest for you, right? And most importantly, if you see someone else do it, you see someone else with the business you want, the money you want, you see somebody else with the audience you want, or the relationship you want, you already see the proof. Just because it's not in your life does not mean it's true. I always see dozens and dozens of stories about how like homeless people turn into millionaires in like a year. Like, if you are not where you want to be, it does not have to take you years and months for you to get to your desired life. And once again, that's another belief. Sometimes people believe, oh, it's going to take them months and years and decades for them to save money and to buy a home, or for them to save money and become a millionaire, or for them to find the love of their life. No, that's not how it works. It is going to work that way if you actually believe that to be true. Now, the thing is, of course, sometimes we have really deep rooted beliefs based on how we were raised. I know for me, I was raised in a household where it's like you work up the corporate ladder, you get a good degree, you get a good job, you work, 40 hours a week, you save your money, you maybe go on one vacation a year, if even that. And like, that's basically it. Like, that's the only way that you can build wealth. And then maybe on the side, you're investing into stocks, right? But I'm like, hold the fuck up. I am not going to spend all of my life working at a job that I don't want to be at, right? And then having to like beg for paid time off to go on vacation. Like, that's not the vibe that I wanted. So I had to shift my belief system, because once again, I was raised to believe that to be true, to now realize that, oh, I can actually make a full-time income more than that by simply building a brand on social media and selling my own products. Right. And that allowed me to once again go from broke, making $500 a month, living at my dad's house, to building a multi-six-figure business in my 20s. So that's one of the main things that you need to adjust and change is your belief system. I would take a sheet of paper and write down all of the beliefs that you believe to be true that is actually blocking you from your desires, from your manifestation. Because once you assume that, or once you change that, then you want to start to assume your new beliefs. And this is all about aligning your new beliefs with the desire that you actually want. If you want to lose 20 pounds, and right now you have the belief that you have to do cardio for an hour every single day because that's what every online fitness guru tells you, shift that fucking belief, right? Believe that you don't even have to do any cardio, or you only have to do cardio once a week and you'll still lose the same amount of weight, if not even more, right? It's like, once again, if you believe in that, that's what is true. Okay, that is what is true. Like, we all have that friend, and I know I'm that friend sometimes, where we're just like, oh, everything always works out for us. Like, when you go somewhere, you're like, oh, we're going to get the front parking spot. And then we do, right? You go to a busy restaurant and then you don't even have to wait. You get the best table, right? You order your favorite meal and it comes out immediately. And then maybe you even get a free dessert. That happens because they are assuming the best. They're just assuming everything works out for them. And somehow, some way it does. It really, really does. And if you guys watched my last video about how I gaslit myself into making $100,000, it kind of goes hand in hand. It's like, it's not even gaslighting, because if you actually believe something to be true, that's what's going to happen. And if, of course, you're creating a new belief after you shifted your old beliefs, sometimes it takes a little bit of time to really adapt to that new belief. It could take a few days. It could take a few weeks. It could even take a few months if that prior belief was so deep rooted inside of you, right? Because we want to keep in mind some of these beliefs we've been believing that shit for 20, 30, 40 years now, right? So now it's time to shift those things. So once again, don't make me put that belief onto you, because you can create your own assumptions that it does not have to take you that long to shift those beliefs and basically attract a new life to you. Now, one thing I also realized about law of assumption once I really started to practice this for myself is really letting go of how and when you're going to get the desire, but honestly, like, not even needing to do much work into it. Now, of course, like, this is kind of where people wonder, do I just sit there and assume that I'm going to have $1 million show up at my doorstep without doing a single thing. Do you believe that to be true? Most people will not believe that. So, of course, it's not going to happen, right? Like, you can assume that for like years on end, but do you believe for that to actually happen? Probably not, right? But a better assumption could be if I post every single day on my social media and I sell my offer every single day to my audience, there's going to be at least one person who's going to buy. So your new belief is every time I post, I make a sale. Now, that's something that you can actually believe in because it's actually feasible for you. It's actually possible. You see how it can work. So maybe if you were like me a few years ago and you're working 24/7, burning yourself out when it comes to building your business, making money, or even working like a job or 2 jobs or 3 jobs, I know sometimes people do, change the belief system, right? You don't have to work that freaking hard in order to make an income, in order to make money. It's like the more you relax, the more you receive, right? If you believe, once again, you can work maybe a few hours a day and make a 6-figure income, that is what's going to happen for you. So one way to really start to practice this into like your daily life and your daily routine, it just start to notice how your current beliefs that are good beliefs that are serving you already, listen to them and notice how they're basically manifesting in good ways into your life, right? So for an example, maybe you're someone who never hits traffic. Maybe you never hit like a red light because you have the belief that you always get to your destination safely. Notice that because you have such a core belief in that. And every single time maybe you go to the gym or you go to work or you go grab dinner, you just always make it there and back in a breeze. Like it's so simple, so easy for you. And start with smaller beliefs too. Like maybe for one, you believe when you go to the grocery store, every ingredient that you need is going to be there, right? Maybe sometimes you go to the store or the grocery store and they don't have what you need. Just believe it's going to be there. Assume that the best is going to happen. And then slowly but surely, like that is just going to start to manifest for you. And I do this, like I'll tell you guys, I do this for the smallest things. I just assume it is going to work out. If I go to the mall and I know that I have like a function or an event that week and I need like a cute white skirt, instead of stressing and being like, oh my gosh, what if I can't find anything? Of course, there's not going to be my size. Like, I don't know, just so busy. Like, it's a Saturday. It's already all sold out. Like, instead of assuming that, just assume, oh, it's going to be there because I'm going to the fucking mall. Like, oh, like there's just going to be the perfect size for me, the perfect skirt, and it's just going to happen. Just assume it to be possible. And one thing that I actually want to share with you guys, because I do this all the damn time too, is the other day, it was actually probably like a month ago, Andy and I, we were going on like a nature trail, and we live in Florida. So of course, when there's like nature trails and like lakes and swamps, there's alligators. So we go to this new nature trail and we always see alligators anytime we go to like the Everglades, a lake, swamp, anywhere. We're like, oh, we want to see alligators because we just absolutely love them. And we go and walk this nature trail. We're probably there for like an hour. And the whole time I'm like, oh, we're definitely going to see a gator, right? And I'm just assuming, oh yeah, we're going to see a gator. Like it's going to happen. I don't know when, but it's just like going to happen. Like it's going to happen. Okay. So we're walking, and we basically get to the end of the trail. It's like we make a whole loop and we're back to where we started. And Andy's like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe we didn't see a gator. Like we always see a gator. I'm like, oh, like we are gonna see one because we're not back to our car yet. And I just start to look around. I'm like, I'm literally assuming in my head, like, oh, I'm gonna see a gator. Like there's a gator here. Like where is it? And I'm basically just assuming I'm gonna see one. Like it's already here. And I kid you not, all of a sudden, literally, and we were looking everywhere, under the bushes, under the trees, and like the lily pads, because sometimes they're hiding. And like literally out of nowhere, I see a gator. I see its like head, and it just starts to swim. I'm like, look, I knew it. I assumed it. I manifested it. And this is just like the craziest small example, but this is how it works. I could have been like, oh, like you're right. Like we didn't see a gator. Like, oh my gosh, this sucks. This sucks. Maybe it's not the right day, or maybe they don't have gators over here because it was our first time being here. Like I could have shifted my assumptions, my beliefs, but I just knew for a fucking fact we'd see one because we always do. So there's just like such a fun example for me to show you because once again, the smallest things you assume is what is going to manifest for you. So I would use everything that I shared with you guys in today's video to really assume what you want when it comes to money, when it comes to your life, when it comes to your relationships, when it comes to health. Okay. And if you have not watched the video on how I gaslit myself into making $100,000 and you love this video, go watch it right here. Okay. So I love you guys so much. Don't forget to subscribe because we are on the journey of reaching 100,000 subscribers. And once again, I am assuming that into my reality. And if you guys, of course, want to join the fam, make sure to hit the subscribe button. So I love you guys so much. And until next time, make sure that you stay unforgettable.